your favorite legendary opinionated Amerislav, and here with our favorite, another legend icon, Kelly Diamond, here at Diamonds and Demons, baby. Um, Prefacing, so we have a huge snowstorm. By the way, all the roads are closed too. It's like kind of funny. Like, oh. We have a huge snowstorm. The work call that I had prior to this, I kept getting kicked out. So we're just gonna try how it goes. If for whatever reason I get kicked out, then we'll redo, or like plan another day to have like a full conversation. We'll just wing it.
Okay.
Team No Delusion. How are you?
Fine. How about yourself? Do
See,
you
I
have
can't
any?
even hear you. Why?
Oh,
1 second. Let me see if that's me. We're having some technical difficulties. Say something.
hello.
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay.
Okay.
Apparently, the speaker was like, "No, I'm not dealing with y'all. Bye."
Fuck this weather.
Yes.
Fuck all of this. I don't want anything to do with it.
How are you? What are you up to? What's life?
Just going day to day, not really doing much, but kind of just came off of a nice little Valentine's Day, went bowling. So
Oh shit! Did you win?
I beat myself and
Okay.
got my personal best, but
Okay.
I don't think I'd ever beat anybody. we just
That's
go
the
for fun.
cutest.
We just go for fun. So
Oh, that is fun. Do you have like your own ball, or do you like rent?
no, but we have our own shoes. That's as far as our commitment has gone so far.
Is this like a reoccurring thing?
It hasn't been enough to warrant a ball. So until we start going on a more regular basis, we will just stick to the shoes so that we don't get stick with shoe fees.
Oh, right, right. So y'all did something for Valentine's.
Yeah, this weekend we did. Yep.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It was so funny. So I got an American, the land that I love necklace.
Cute.
Um, it's American flag, and it's the same, and it fits my ring, which I'm not wearing right now because it's rings and working the land does not work together.
Correct. Yeah.
Um, but I feel like this year it has been I don't know about you, but I feel like it has been a lower expression of oh my god, Valentine's Day, blah 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 blah. Maybe I've just surrounded myself by people more now that all just are happy people in general, so they don't complain about Valentine.
Yeah, that could be it. I haven't seen much in the way. I'm in advertising, so Valentine's Day is just a big deal in advertising. But
Mhm.
because it's consumers. But like just my friends and stuff, it's kind of been very chill. Like nobody's complaining. Nobody's like sad or
Right, right,
depressed.
right.
They're just like, yep, just another weekend of enjoying my life, and like, okay, yeah,
And then we had President Day
yeah,
Monday,
yeah,
which was new to me. I didn't know that was a thing.
yeah. Lincoln and Washington were both February birthdays, so they just
Yeah,
lumped it into President's Day.
made it one.
Yep.
What has been going on in your online world or real world? I don't know.
Oh, my real world is just chill as fuck. Like I don't let that stuff permeate into my into my the sanctum of my offline world. So, but online world is interesting. I've seen a lot of people like getting really uppity about voter ID, and I've not seen people get particularly bothered by the Epstein files as I expected they would. So it's just been a very interesting thing to watch. Like, but I've been thinking about like my head's been kind of roaming a bit and trying to figure out like what would make this work, right? What would make the U.S. work better, right?
We're gonna
And
solve US.
right, let's solve U.S. Let's just do that real quick.
No problem.
It's fine. And I was thinking about it, and I've been listening to a lot of different podcasts talking about, well, you gotta have, you gotta have a freer market, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and everybody's just bickering about policy, but no one's actually talking about what the right combination is to make it work. Like if I were to give you a recipe on how to make a relationship work, you wouldn't just say one thing. He's got to remember my birthday. Like that can't be the only thing that keeps you guys going. Like it can't be just one thing. It's a confluence of things, right? It's like it's a mix of like, he's considerate and he's smart and he's insightful, but he's also a leader and he's just about whatever it is that has you coming back each day to this person, would be part of that larger recipe that makes it work. But like, and if you think about all the smaller stuff, does that really fall into this larger category of strength or a larger category of leadership or a larger category of whatever, right? And I was like, if you think about just like the government as an entity, right? And we have to relate to it in some way. What is that relationship? How are we defining the actual relationship rather than going piece by piece and thinking that we can be like Monet and paint really close to the canvas and back up and there's beautiful masterpiece, reveals itself. I think that's asking much. This isn't impressionist work. Like this is very detailed. And I was thinking about it, and what I kind of been exploring. I haven't said I've landed, but I've explored, and I'm exploring the idea that it needs a free market, but a free market is not an end unto itself. It's a means to an end, right? Mm-hmm. So because I look back and I'm like, there were free markets long before the US existed. Like there were unregulated.
US is a little tiny baby. What do you mean free market?
So there's plenty of free markets.
Humanity.
Like barely regulated. If there were regulations, they were so minimal by comparison to today's standards that we would give our fucking teeth to go back to that. But like, right? So like, but just having a free market unto itself hasn't necessarily resulted in greatness just by having that. There was something else to it, right?
Well, and a free market stimulates and requires almost certain characteristics that are a part of a larger success form.
Correct. So it is definitely a means to get somewhere because you're free to explore every option, right? Which is great. But the question is, where are you going in this vessel called the free market? Like, where are you headed? And it can't be so arbitrary and so random that you don't know where you're, like, we're just randomly doing shit, like that doesn't seem right. Like there's obviously feedback mechanisms in economies, right? That say, okay, there's a demand here, there's a need. Oh, okay, we'll meet that need. Oh, I can do it better. That stuff exists, right? But only to the extent that people say something about it, right? Like there aren't always people who complain about the lack of choice if the choices are fine. They only care about the lack of choice if the choices suck. Like if everything was perfect, I wouldn't need a choice. I wouldn't opt out of it. Like I'd be cool with that. Just, because I think about it, I'm like, I'm very like prescriptive and like very routine in my ways. So it's like, I like that there's other options out there, but I know which one I'm going to pick every time for my toothpaste. I know what I'm going to pick for my deodorant. Like I know what I'm going to pick for my, stuff. Cool that you have all these choices, but I know at the end, I already know what I'm picking. And if the world was only comprised of the things I chose all the time, I wouldn't notice the difference, right? I feel like, okay, well, at least my stuff's here. I just keep going. But so I was like thinking, okay, so what is that special sauce that ultimately says, okay, we can take a free market and we can propel society exponentially into this techno giant that the US is, right? Like, how did we get here? From pilgrims, right? From like
it's agrarian such a short time, though,
right? A relatively short period of time.
Super short. Like like America is the youngest nation we have in the world.
No, if you want to count Israel.
Who do I want to count?
Israel is technically younger than the US. It's only 80 years old.
I mean, I guess it becomes kind of a complex.
Yeah.
By name, sure. By current government, sure. Yeah, okay. Not as cool as the US, though. No. Okay, so the America's the youngest nation with its impact and footprint the way it has. Because everyone wants to be the US.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, but yeah, the U.S.
No,
is
no one
definitely
is like, oh, like there's no Australian dream. There's no
I've
Canada
come to
future.
fulfill my Australian dream.
Oi, living off the land. No, that ain't the thing. Right.
Right? So, but what was it about the US in particular that had people doing that, right? And I look at it and I'm like, there were certain things that are inherent to the US, right? But if you think of what those were, that was a cultural point. Like that's a cultural thing. Whatever that is, whatever makes the US unique in seeking out what it did over this period of time and doing it and fulfilling it, right?
And can we just amplify what certain parts were of that? The U.S. is not, one group of people came on a boat and colonized the fucking. No, the U.S. is several groups of people who fled, left, or sought out a different way of life, which they didn't know what it looked like. So it's crazy, borderline brave, which may be the same. Who knows? And that were very comfortable with holding the unknown because there's no calculation, there's no
Right.
reward, like there's nothing ahead. It's
Right.
just exploring, right?
Right.
So it's
So I mean,
outliers. It's outliers.
yeah, it was a lot of people who were generally like not fitting in with what was going on in their home country, right? And the home country, I mean, even by today's standards, we would say that they were freer than we are now in many respects, right? Like we threw a war over 3% tax. So I mean, we were
I mean, fair.
and now I'm like, I would throw a war to get 3% back. Like
Fair. Yeah.
I would legit throw my life down for that. Like I
Right.
would be
Let's
like,
go.
King George, bring it back. What were you
Yeah.
saying about 3%? Because I'm down. I'm down for 3. Like, a lot. So I mean, so we were bitching about some shit at the time, but like it was like, but there was a lot of fluctuation in terms of like culture and religion and and ways of life. And then on a rumor, people are coming to the US sight unseen.
Like,
Right? Like that's what the
I
fuck it
can't.
was. It's
On
like,
a fucking rumor.
right? They're like, I heard if you get on this boat, you
And then
land somewhere that's really cool.
right, or that it can become really cool. It's the promised land. And
Yeah.
then you either land on the East Coast somewhere, and then you're like, you know what? I'm not vibing here. Let's go over yonder.
In a covered wagon and a couple of horses. And
Yes.
I'll just put the kids in the back
Kids, shut up.
and we'll just go.
Where are we
See what's
going?
there.
We don't know.
Like that family trip though. Like
You
fuck.
fucking family trip. Okay, the kids, are we there yet? I don't really know, actually.
That would depend on where there is.
Right, like I'm not
Here's
sure.
here.
So which direction are we going? I don't know. There where you see the mountains and the snow tops, that might look like a good direction. Let's see
We're
what's
just
over
checking-
there, like past
Right.
there.
We're going toward where the sun is setting. Ta-da! That's the map.
That's fucking America, baby. That's fucking
Right?
glorious.
So like that's a thing. Like that's a thing. Like that whole just, fuck it, let's just go.
Mhm.
Fuck it, let's just do it.
Well, that's
You
like
know?
the meme. Let's fucking go. Like that's America in origination.
Right? Like, and I was thinking like even like Ayn Rand was talking about how, she's like the idea of making money. Right? She's like, as in creating wealth. She's like, which that's a wholly American thing, like to make money, right? Not just print it, but like to create wealth out of what you're doing.
Mhm.
And like that is something that is a big deal, that the term making money is really a term for creating wealth, not just, now we use it a little more fast and loose, but originally that's what it was. And I'm just thinking, there was a lot of an ethic that went into building the US in particular
Mhm.
that made it awesome, like truly awesome, And I think, I resent the fact that people are, regret that, and that people, are ashamed of it. I think people who have that sentiment are just assholes, really. Like,
Not only are they're ashamed of things that don't exist, right? Because they're ashamed because they have a incorrect delusion, which is double up, doesn't matter. But they have an incorrect delusion of what the opposite is like, right? There's like the grass is greener or better over there, which it's not.
right.
It's like
No,
it's absolutely not. But they
right,
have adapted that as truth. And
right,
being
right.
therefore I'm regretting the way the US is and is broken. I'm like, oh baby. Oh boo boo.
Right. And I think, like, I was talking to Chris about it a little bit yesterday as well. And I thought, you know, it's not just about saying, I don't like X, Y, and Z. You can do something to get away from the things you don't like.
Mhm.
But that's almost like revenge. After you've done that, what next? Right? If your whole life is revolving around this one particular achievement and you get there, what are you doing after you get there? And that's the issue, is like, and I feel like that's a lot of people talking about, that's what it is for revenge, but that's what it is for, like, people who like to bitch. Well, if we fix it, right, we fix, you fix racism, then what? Well, now I got to go find racism, right?
Now,
Like,
now I'm going to create
now I'm
racism
going to create racism,
because
so
otherwise I don't have anything to solve.
correct. And so it's like that's what ends up happening. So it's like this thing of, like, I fight against the thing
Mhm.
is one piece, but the other side of that is, but what are you fighting for?
Mhm.
Right? Like, what society do you want? Like, what do you want to see in society? What kind of place do you want to live in? Affirmatively.
Mhm.
Fine, you can say, in terms of the negative, I don't want a surveillance state. I
Mhm.
don't want I don't want a hyper-regulated state. I don't want this. Okay, but what do you want? Well, I just want to be left alone. Yeah, but you have a vision of what you want to wake up to and look out your window and see. And I know it's not smokestacks. So you better fucking tell me what the hell that is.
Well, and the problem is nowadays I put. Are we back?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just and most people are right now connected over what they don't want.
Mhm.
We're accumulating momentum over what we don't want, and then they realize that what they do want is still actually like really fucking different.
Yeah.
That's how they eat each other. It's funny. So here in North California, at the coast, there's going to be a new Amazon like distribution center or whatever. I don't fucking know. And it's interesting to see. Look, so the news is reporting a lot on it, and the comments are like, "Oh, this is great, great for the economy." Just because it's for one, it's a very Northern California has a debt economy
Mhm.
because it used to be timber, then it became the wheat industry, and that died right in 2016 or some shit. So it's like it's full on in decay. We're going like Detroit style, where abandoned buildings. There's only the leftovers by virtue of like people who have given up on life. A lot of drugs. Like there's no vitality's gone, zero, right? Uh, and the comments were interesting because everyone knew better what it should be. Like who's happy about this. They don't know what they're talking about because it's not going to create jobs because it's just going to be robots. What we need, and then they give a list, right? We need more education. We need more healthcare. And I just commented. I just copy pasted. Then go create that.
I mean, right?
We need. Yeah, sure. I don't disagree. But then go fucking create that.
Right.
But there is this like again, this bitching, it became like a culture, bitching about the culture. Like, this is not what we need. Is we don't want this. What do you want? That okay? Then go. But no, someone else needs to create that for me.
Right. And I think that's the thing, right? Like, if you look out your window, do you want to see a bunch of nodding addicts in the streets? Just kind of, do you want to see that? I don't think you do. I don't think anybody does. I mean, if you go through a neighborhood, I was asking somebody, I said, what do you consider a bad neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, crime. And I said, take crime out, because crime happens at all levels. It's just a matter of how discreet they are about it. But crime is happening from low end all the way up. I said, crime has nothing to do
crime if you would want to be specific, right?
But I mean, no. But I mean, if you have hookers in the poor areas, you have hookers all the way up the ladder. I mean,
exactly.
You have drug addicts at the bottom, you have drug addicts at the top.
Sure.
They all exist.
So there's a certain public display of the crime.
That's right. That's right. So let's remove the variable of crime, because that's not real. Like there's crime in all levels. So good neighborhood, bad neighborhood. What do you see, right? Without crime, no crime. Can you list off what that looks like? And I was like, okay, let's do that. I would say if I saw foil in the mirror, in the windows, if I saw somebody put foil up in the windows, have you ever seen that? Yeah, and it's a common feature in like poorer neighborhoods. You have foil up in the windows.
What does it do?
Reflects the sun, and it's like instead of curtains or for privacy or for but it's there. You would see a lot of litter. You would see unkept yards, right? Like overgrown, like not just like somebody's going to get to it next week like they do every week, but like overgrown, right?
Like lots of trash.
Yeah, lots of litter, right? And then you'll hear people having their domestic disputes in the street. You'll have people loitering outside and playing their music really loud throughout the day and throughout the night. You'll see.
So there's lack of social etiquette.
Right. Right. The way people are dressed will look different, right? They could dress nicer, but they don't. The women are dressed like they just rolled out of bed. The men are dressed like they can't pull their pants up.
Right.
And
let's elaborate that even to not the lack of taking care of oneself, because we all know like Paris Hilton can pull up in a fucking training suit and fucking look miraculous, right? Right. So it's the lack of taking care of oneself.
Correct. Right.
On top of.
But a lot of the cars that are broken down, houses that are broken down, you've got masking tape holding a side view mirror up on a car. If you see those things all together, then you see like homeless people and people with the Fenty nod, and all of that kind of just loitering about. All of that combined, none of those are criminal acts, by the way. Not one criminal act did I describe. But it did describe a bad neighborhood, didn't it? Right? Like you see all of those things combined, 100%, you're like, I'm not living here. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, that's just, you're not aspiring to be there. If anything, you're aspiring to get the fuck out. Mm-hmm. Right? So let's say you do. Let's say you aspire to get the fuck out of that. And let's say you're one of the kids, you come up in that neighborhood and you're like, I'm out of here the day I can leave. If I can get emancipated, I'm out that day. If I can't get emancipated, on my 18th birthday, my present to me is get the fuck out of here. Right. And there are people like that. Like there's interviews all the time with these types of people where they're just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm leaving the fucking trailer park. I'm leaving this neighborhood, project, whatever it is. I'm out. Mm-hmm. And they're committed. So like their heads are buried in books. They're applying to any college and they're like looking at like the furthest possible place they can go. They're like, I'm in LA. Cool. I want to go to school in Maine. Like I want the fuck out, like way out. Right? Like they're so extreme about it. Like there's like anything, just get me the hell out. Right. Mm-hmm. So they get out. Mm-hmm. Once they get out, there's no scenario where they're going back to that. Mm-hmm. So this is no different than an immigrant, right? Like I'm the fuck out of the Eastern Bloc. I'm not going back to the fucking Eastern Bloc. Like that's not an option. There's no recidivism here. We are in this till we die. So I will lay my life down on this choice to get the fuck out. Going back is not an option. That's off the fucking table, right? The amount of commitment, right? Once you get there and you're like, okay, I know this. This is the nice neighborhood because of all the things that are not here, right? There is no foil in the windows. People have regular blinds in the windows and curtains, and their yards are nice, and the trash is picked up, and people freely walk their dogs at night. No issues.
And people greet each other.
Right. That my neighbor just waved at me. The kids are out here riding their bikes. They're, and everything shuts down at about 9:00. No noise, no nothing. I don't have to listen to anybody having fights in the streets. None of that. And it's like, I love this so much that if anybody comes in and tries to fuck with this, I will 100% beat their ass. Like, you cannot come in here and ruin this.
That's how you keep that standard.
What's that?
You have to protect that standard.
Oh, correct. Right. So if I think about the most dedicated immigrant, I'm thinking the same thing. It's right. The person who's like, do not bring the Eastern Bloc here. Don't bring Cuba here. Do not bring your Venezuelan bullshit here. Don't bring your Honduran gangs here. Don't do it. I left so I could get away from that bullshit, right? The whole point of me uprooting my fucking family and for me putting my head down and busting my ass is to get the fuck away from that. Do not bring your bad neighborhood bullshit into my good neighborhood, full stop.
Yep.
You low standard piece of shit, right? And that's kind of like, you want that. And that right there, what I described, is what I think real patriotism looks like. Right? If you were to describe what real patriotism is, it's not about the government. It's about defending the good neighborhood.
It's keeping the standards high.
Correct. And saying,
yeah.
Exactly. So, when I think about when I think about people like that, when I think about like what makes the US uniquely good, is that and I think it's kind of been buried a bit, and it will probably take a lot of exercise for us to get back to our rightful place. But I think you want that ethic. You want the defensiveness, right? That says, this is the good neighborhood. The US is the good neighborhood.
Yes.
And we're going to make this work, and we're going to make it, and everybody's going to pick up after themselves, and everybody's going to take some responsibility. And if you don't, we're going to come talk to you. And you're going to get your shit in line, and if you're, and then in the same, and then it's like one step further, it's like, I want to see in the US, how people get really appreciative of the military. They'll say, I thank the troops and blah, blah, blah. I want people to start thanking each other for doing jobs, and working and taking pride in their work, because I feel like that's an ethic that lives in Japan. It's not here. So like the president of a company will bow to a janitor if he sees him.
By the way, for listeners who are new, it's me, your immigrant, obviously everyone knows. And then this is my half Japanese. Yeah?
Yeah.
Mom is full Japanese, like the culture group. So it's not like two white Karen bitches from American are here like discussing. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So, I mean, but that's something that I saw when I was out there. When I lived in Japan, it was like that. It was like the president bows to the janitor and thanks him and appreciates him, right? You're doing something, and that's part of something bigger, and we appreciate you, right?
And we recognize every puzzle piece of that. And
then people do their best work. They do. They put their very best forward. People move up. People, and if you want to move up in the world, you move up. If you're good with where you're at, you're good with where you're at. But either way, you put your very best forward. And to me, like, that's missing. And I think, like, if we had that combined with the fuck it, let's go, you would have a awesome fucking country, like a really awesome place where people are just like you want to be around it. It's like, but you don't want but at the same time, it's like, think about how you curate your circles of influence. You deliberately are caustic and aloof towards people who don't share your general ethic. Like, you're deliberately that way. You deliberately repel them for a reason, because you don't want them lingering in your spaces. You don't want them there for a reason, because they'll bring you down, because they bring down the vibration, they bring down everything, they bring down the standards, and you don't belong here, and I don't have a problem with that kind of exclusivity. And I don't have a problem. And I want, like, I would, it's like you have in Japan, people check each other all the time, like, why can't we do that here? Like, why can't we check each other? Like, why is that not a thing? I don't care that you're free to do it. I care that you're doing it, and it sucks,
Where did you see, because you've been here, like, you've seen several waves of you've seen several cultural waves, right? So where did it go from being this high standard nation that is on all levels aspiring to its next level on an individual scale, right? Doesn't matter whether you're from the hood and you want to get out of the hood, or whether you're from a trailer park and you just want to live in like a gated community. But there was a active, like, again, there was like it was born in America, right? And somehow we culturally moved to the opposite being the common denominator, right? So if you want to uphold your high standard, then you are racist, bigot, misogynist. You're something that's connotated with something negative, right? That so how do we get there?
I would say that when we started introducing massive waves of welfare, we took away people's sense of obligation and responsibility to each other. I will say that that was probably the most insidious thing to happen, and the cruelest thing to impose upon the U.S. was those
It's
things.
cruel. Yeah.
It was. No, it was. When I look at it, I feel like we were tortured with it. Like we were tortured with this welfare state. That it's, and I get it. Like it's not that I don't think poverty is a problem. It's not that I don't feel for people who don't have or have fallen on hard times or whatever their sad story is. It's that I don't think we upend and turn over a whole economy for it.
Well, poverty is a symptom.
Correct. And it's also,
yeah,
and it's not and it's not an economic state.
No.
It's that's a symptom, right? Your economic poverty is a result of other poverty that you have. Your poverty, you're bankrupt with your ethic. You're bankrupt with your purpose. You're bankrupt when it comes to, any sort of motivation, or bankrupt in education. You are bankrupt in your resourcefulness. You are bankrupt as a person, and therefore you are bankrupt as a,
And the more bankrupt you are, and the more you adapt the idea that external authority, anything outside of you, should solve that or present you with,
right,
as a counter,
right,
you're gone. It's lost.
That's right. And you've lost it. And so we said we will forego the front of the pack, right? So if you think about it from a pack perspective, you have the front of the pack. Those are all alphas running, leading, right? And they're going forward, and they see everything, and they're doing the thing.
First step.
And then you have the middle of the pack trying to keep up, if not move forward, right? And then there's the back of the pack, the sick, the weak, the slovenly, whatever, the poor, whatever. You have them in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody likes to say that the mark of a civilization is when people stop to care for the back of the pack and bring them forward, which it's a mark of civility in an individual, but it's not the mark of civility for the entire society to do that. So like there is civility in me slowing down and helping a poor person out. There is very little civility in the whole society stopping for that person, or even that cohort of people. It doesn't make sense, because that's exactly what we did with the lockdowns. We took all the healthy people and locked them down, right?
Nor should you and can you curate the whole lifestyle and world around the weakest people, right? Because then they become the norm. They become baseline. They should at all times be the anomaly and the outlier in the negative sense, because the aspiration should at all times be to not be the weakest.
Correct. Whatever. You should not be that. Yeah. Right. You want to be better than that. So we're not going to normalize that. We're not going to cater to that. And we're not going to in any way adjust our standards towards that. We're going to say, you need to be better. There are programs that can get you to catch up. You're going to have to do those things. Right. And you can get into a program. You can get into get more education. You can lose weight. Whatever it is that you need to do, get healthy. Whatever it is, you're going to have to go do the things that everybody else in the middle and the front of the pack are doing.
And by the way, you're going to have to do those things by virtue of everyone is doing them things, right? The people my dogs are taking off the curtain in the back. The people in the middle and at the top or way ahead are not void of having done those things.
Correct.
They have not been placed in this hierarchy or alpha or leading position, because people conflate that with like, hey, you were born in wealth, means nothing. Means nothing.
Right.
They had to and still have to do those things too. That is of you, said weak person.
Right.
Also expected. By virtue of being sick, wealthy, sick or not healthy or whatever's wrong with you, does not eliminate you from that natural process of having to become better, grower, healthy, whatever it is.
That's right. And I think there's something to be said for the people who excuse themselves from society, right? And say, I'm no longer contributing. I'm no longer part of this. Mm-hmm. I'm not part of this forward movement anymore. Mm-hmm. And I realize that, and I'm going to just kind of slowly opt out, right? That makes sense. Like, it's not, and it's like, and I'll take care of myself. I won't impose on the rest of society, right? Like having that kind of self-awareness that was totally normal by the way. Like at one point that was normal that you would say, I recognize who I am in this. I need to like, I can't hold everyone else back. The future of this pack relies on me not being there. Like the best thing I could do to serve them is to not be in it, and it's not to be like moribund about it and like be suicidal. That's not the point. It's not to be suicidal. It's that you recognize that your inability to contribute makes you a lone wolf, right? It makes you a lone wolf, that you will have to find a way on your own to do the thing that you need to do. And you're going to figure that out, but you can't do it at the expense of the rest of the pack, and I'm not trying to be like collectivist about it, but I am saying that societies do move forward, and societies, and the reason why there's society in the first place is because that's humans organizing with one another. We're organizing for something better and more stable and more progressive and more advancing and more growth and more this. We invest in each other that way. So like when we're edifying people for working and we're edifying people for their participation, we're saying you're part of this and we're so excited for you and we're excited for us and we're doing this great thing. And maybe I'm not the person that built the rocket ship, okay? But I was so excited when they did it and that the person did this and I cheered for them and I was rooting for them and we were all, and this is so much more positive and affirming towards good behavior, right? Like winning behavior and saying, and telling your kids, hey, listen, I didn't build the rocket ship. I was just, I was the secretary that processed the paperwork to get the part, whatever, right? But you tell your kids you can build the rocket ship. And if you don't build the rocket, you can do better, you could do the thing,
Exactly. And there are several streams that naturally move forward, right? So first you have just basic nature. Growth, decay, right? Growth, sprout, decay, etc. That's just nature.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have technology, because we keep breaking it, and we keep finding more. We keep finding new challenges. Therefore, we progress, evolve. Right? It's another. Then the natural, like as just a human body, you either are dying, like we're all dying. Don't get me wrong, but in a spiritual form, where either you're dying or you're growing. You're never just in one place.
Right. And I think, I think the idea of, if you think about your society is no different than your circle of friends, you want to surround yourself with people who are affirming and who are living life affirmingly, right? You want people who are living in great success around you, just like you want to be surrounded by houses that are well kept, and you want, and it's like, you want to constantly be surrounded by good things and success and, and all of those markers. It's not because we're all, this is, it's a collective. It's that it's almost like it affirms itself. It's almost on this like
100.
Organic thing where it's like, I don't have to sit there and tell you every day how great you are. It's that when you see me and you see, like, if you see what I write or you see what I do or you hear from me or you see that as an affirmation that, yes, this is good. Like I like what I heard. I'm inspired by that. Or like, I'm happy for her. Oh, this is good. And I hear that from you. I do the same thing.
Right.
That's what we have. And that's the synergy of what we're doing. Right. And not that I live off of you or you live off of me.
Exactly. Right. And as we go through these cycles, when we're in the practice of upping our standard of life, right? That takes effort. Then that becomes the new baseline. It requires zero effort then. Then we up new effort.
That's right.
That's why you get better neighborhoods, become better and better and better. Shitty neighborhoods become shittier. That's so right. That goes both directions.
That's right. And I think, I want that for, I want that for my, I see it in my neighborhood, which is insane that I would see something so aspirational in my neighborhood, right? My neighborhood is not, you've been to it. It's not glitzy, but everybody's got their kids in line, safe to walk outside. The people are working on their yards on the weekend. The kids will be on their bikes and there'll be there's a neighborhood watch sign and but like at 9:00 it's quiet and nobody's like honking their horns and yelling and screaming and blaring music. It's all just quiet and like it's a quaint but very nice neighborhood. And it's like, and I love that they take pride in it. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Mhm.
not asking you to live off of me and I'm not living off of you, but we are in a way cooperating with each other in that we've both clearly maintained the standard.
We're actively creating the standard of this milieu and upkeeping it and
Correct.
protecting it.
In our own way, in
Yeah.
our own way. And we do that not just with our property, but even on the street. If we see a piece of trash, we pick it up. If the kids are acting up, you, hey, what are you guys up to? If if there's a stray dog, you tell somebody there's a stray dog. So yeah, that's not my property,
You
but I'm
greet each
still
other. You look each other in the eye.
correct.
Whereas in shitty neighborhood, everyone's trying to avoid fucking eye contact.
That's right. That's right. I mean, this is the kind of behavior where it's like it costs you nothing, but at the same time, you've upped your property value by several $100,000 by behaving this way.
Mhm.
This is a valuable behavior that gets rewarded when it's seen in its entirety being played out by everyone.
Mhm.
If you do your part in the dance, it's really well synchronized and really well choreographed. When anybody comes to buy a house, we've all participated in making sure that you get top dollar for your fucking house when you sell it.
Mhm.
And it's like, that's true. Like, that's a real thing. And it's like, I'm not saying to give me a cut. I'm just saying, do the same for me.
Mhm.
Keep your yard in order so that when it's time for me to sell my house, I get top dollar too. Like, and we keep that going, and that we keep, that you're not the reason why somebody is like, I don't know about this place. Like,
Right.
you want to be that person. And like, so from a neighborhood to a city to a state to a country, from a friend group, right, all the way down as small as a friend group,
Mhm.
all we're trying to do is have a way in which people take pride and ownership and aspire to be better, and that can be unto itself a cultural thing, like, I know Japan's a lot more like duty and obligation bound, and that's a little heavy. Like, it's heavy, but like having at least a sense of obligation to say, I should do my part,
Mhm.
and I need to keep pace with everybody else because they're counting on me as much as I'm counting on them to keep this nice. I can't pawn it off, And so I don't know I don't know what that translates into, but you do need that more. You need that as much as you need a free market, because a free market will be happy to allow a bunch of non-criminal shit to happen and doesn't care, has no standard. That's what a free market is. There's no standards. There's no guardrails. There's nothing. There's just don't be a criminal. But like, I need more than just don't be a criminal,
Mhm.
obviously.
Which is an extremely low standard.
It is. It's
And like,
not
and
enough. Yeah.
we could even like debate on like the definition of criminal, right? Because hypothetically, if one is like evading taxes, like
I guess there's
not,
people who will argue that unless there's a victim, there's no crime, right?
I do like that actually.
You like it until you have somebody fenty nodding outside your front door and they're not on your property. And
No,
you gotta,
then we go back to the standards thing.
right. But that's the thing, is like, there's nothing criminal about that. So there's nothing regulating that out other than your
I am
standard.
the regulator. I am the regulator. I'm taking the personal responsibility to be that regulator, right? I don't need an external authority
Right.
telling or creating the standard.
But that's what you need then. Then
Right.
you need that. Like, then you need that cohesiveness, right?
Exactly.
You can't just be Bara doing it all. Like, you're gonna have to, I mean, in a neighborhood like mine, it can't just be me. It has to be everybody, or else it doesn't work.
No, for sure. For sure.
Right. But that's like either you have that or you don't. But if you don't, right? That's what I'm saying. The welfare state has absolutely detached people from that sense of obligation and responsibility to do this work, right? To participate like this, and they're not doing it. So it's like, well, if they're not doing it, then that's where the laws come in. That's where somebody says, well, then there has to be a law to make you do it, because otherwise I'm never going to have these standards.
Mhm.
That's where you get it from. Like, you wouldn't need laws for shit if you did it.
Right.
Like, and it's like, well, if you need a law to tell you to do it, then you're ethically bankrupt. Correct. But I don't want to live amongst a bunch of ethically bankrupt motherfuckers with a lot of money. Like, I just don't want to do it. Like, I'd rather live with amongst, working class and poor people who actually give a shit, like it's just the thing.
And this like, and we've talked about this in a previous episode too. Where I live is a great example. Like, aside from being extremely remote, we had the timber industry. Then we had. Is the dog okay? Odin, are you okay? Are you okay? Oh, okay. Sorry, they were like too rough fighting. I'm like, wait, is that okay? First you had the timber, then you had the wheat industry, then it collapsed, and only the bad people are left here. And now, like, the criminality is rising. Homeless people are rising. They're just like kind of wandering around fucking town. The local air quote store has been robbed 17 times in the last 2 years. It's not gonna, like, it already wasn't making any profit, right? It was barely doing neutral. That store is gonna not exist within 6 months, because where there used to be a culture and community here during the two booms, those people have left, right? So there's no one to uphold the standard anymore. Yet everyone is like, I don't know why this keeps happening here. And it's going so bad here. There's no jobs anymore. Yeah, because y'all fucking robbed those away.
That's right. Well, the same thing with California leveling a billionaire tax or a wealth tax, or, it's like just the rumor alone is chasing people out.
Mm-hmm.
So the only people that are going to be left are the poor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're eventually going to get to that point. That's what happened to Detroit, right? That was the capital flight of Detroit. Coleman Young was like, we don't want your white money. So white money left. They're like, okay.
Did you see what the Netherlands did?
Yes.
So, like, by the way, everyone's always glorifying West Europe. The Netherlands has an income tax between 39 and like 69%. I know most people report it inaccurately because they say it's between like 39 and 48%. That's for your first job. If you have more jobs, they get double tax. If you're an entrepreneur, we're not even gonna fucking go there. But free healthcare. And the Netherlands is now gonna tax ungained capital.
Right. Unrealized capital gains.
Unrealized. Thank you. Sorry. So the unrealized capital gain is just gonna not be in the country anymore.
Yeah, they're gonna leave. Same thing happened with Norway. Same thing happened with Sweden. Like, it says, you keep pulling this shit. Nobody fucking wants to pay that much. Like, stop it, or else you're going to chase your wealth away. And they keep doing that. And you chase the wealth. And it's like, I know you're ashamed of them, but you need them.
Well, and not only are they chasing the wealth, no one wants to pay that, because it's not resulting in the original promise, which is a better nation, right? Because that originally was like, we need the tax so we can have better quality road, better quality school. We can help people who need a little support, right? But that promise keeps falling through. So now you're just endlessly robbing people, but there's no promise on your end anymore.
Right. Well, that's the problem too, is it's like, okay, you had, part of your remit was to provide these things. You didn't. And now I'm still paying through the ass. I don't understand what I'm paying for anymore. And I mean, that's a big grievance for the United States. The United States is like, wow, I'm just watching you like write check after check for every other country but ours. Like, what the fuck? Like, and that's the thing. You can largely get people to participate in a tax system. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't really be theft, because most people will say, I'm okay with this, provided that you're doing these things. Mm-hmm. But once you fail to do that, I got to ask, I'm sorry, how is it that $4 trillion in receipts in revenue doesn't translate into a sandwich, making it to a homeless veteran? Like, how did you miss that? How did you miss the part where, like, bridges are falling down and like fucking, you've got, growing encampments of poverty and crime. And it's like, where the fuck's the money going? Why are people stupid? Why can't kids read after they get out of high school? Like, shit, we pay the most per student per year in education. And
the property taxes with the schools and the roads.
The schools and the roads. And
where's the schools though?
Like, what are they doing? Like, what are y'all doing? Because I know you ain't reading. You ain't reading and you ain't doing math. So what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Have you solved for what a woman is yet? I mean, have you gotten there? 12 years? Fuck. I'm just like, I'm like, show me something. Like, show me that you've done something. And they haven't. So it's just like, so now your eyeballs deep in debt, so then you go and you have to go to college, and then college has to redo high school for you. You have to pay for the privilege, and you're going eyeballs deep in debt again. And it's just like, nobody's getting anything from the institutions that promised that they were going to do something.
Yep.
So naturally, they're leaving. Right. So the people who can afford it are going to just completely opt out.
Yeah.
Right. And the people who can't afford it are left here with nothing and a shit that doesn't work and an endless amount of debt. Like you're going to get South America. You're going to get.
And they're being supported in their not being able to leave and do something because they're being maintained at this level.
100% they are. And that's even worse. Right. Like that's even more heartbreaking is that it's like, you taxed me, so I can't leave.
This is the thing. What the welfare state is doing right now is that I keep saying like Poland has a great fucking example of this because if you are under any type of like support of a government, you're still working full time. Like you're cleaning the city. You're contributing. You're outside. You're not sitting inside. You don't get to fucking sit inside, right? And it results in like the cities being like so fucking clean, so pretty, like so pretty. I would eat off the fucking floor in Poland, right? Like hands down. But here, what we're doing here in the US is like, okay, oh, you're morbidly obese. You can't get up anymore. Well, let me keep feeding you. No, you need some anorexia, baby.
Yeah, you need an eating disorder.
A little eating disorder over in this bitch.
I mean, it's just, and I think that's, and it's like, I feel like, and it's not, it's not an advocacy for, this heavy-handed state, but I do feel like before all the immigration issues in Scandinavia, their welfare system worked for them. They figured it out. They unlocked it. Norway has has a lot of oil and fishery things that supplement their income. So they tax, but they also use a lot of the income from that, and they provide for their little hamlet of a country. Sweden got their bell rung in the 90s, reined it in, and got it to a place where it's like, okay, we're going to put our Social Security is going to go into a private fund that doesn't follow the politics, and and you can't tap into it. And they protected it there. They have school choice. They did a lot of free market things, and they have a high tax rate, but it's for people who use it, like everybody uses it, and they're not complaining that people are using it. They're saying, okay, it's for everybody because you pay in for this. And they found the sweet spot for them. And their culture. And their culture is such that you won't find a whole lot of like entrepreneurial like spirit. They're not looking to become billionaires, not at all. They're like loath to think that way. They're more like, you know what? We're happy because we're provided for, and if we do our part, everything will be fine. Like they are safety people. Like they are safe people in every way. I've never seen a more safe culture in my life that even plays it safe themselves. So like they wait for other countries to take risks, and then they learn from that. And they're like, okay, we'll do we'll figure out where they landed, and then we'll take that. We'll take the finished product of somebody else's risk. They do that all the time. And it's like, which is fine. They are somewhat beholden to other countries taking risks. They need that. But they're not going to do it, and they don't. So it's like, okay, we're not adventurous. We're not, we're not out there trying to do new shit. We're also not involved in any wars, and we're not involved in any of this stuff. So we just kind of like, we back off, we sit over here in the Shire, and we wait to see what's next, and then we do it. And it's like, you can be that. You can be that country, over there, and it's fine. It works. Japan, same thing. While they were having kids, their system worked really well for their culture. You can be mad about it, but people weren't necessarily dying to get out of Japan because of their taxes. Japanese people were generally cool with how things work. You had the people who did leave, and they were like, nah, I'm going to the States. And they were black sheep from culture, from the culture. They were like, no, I like being more outgoing, and I like how Americans are a lot more like this, and I can do that. Okay. But like, there were plenty of people who were perfectly happy with how things are over there. And, and they liked the predictability. They liked the routine. They liked the obligations because it meant that their society could be the way it was.
Mhm.
It worked for them. But it only works for people who are on board with the plan.
There we go.
And so if you can get that, great. Do whatever. However, whatever system works. But for the United States, we have to get a plan that works for us in terms of like our ethic and our attitude and our personality. Like we have to get to a place where we're like, this is kind of who we are, for better or for worse. This is how we roll. We are adventurous. We are not averse to risk. We like doing shit. We like, we do anything on a dare. And then we'll take whatever we see, we'll make it that much better and make it our own, and we'll make it bigger and butterier and and saltier.
America's literally like the embodiment of fuck around and find out.
Yeah, let's just fuck with this and see if we can do it better. And then, you know what? Be cool.
I'm just gonna fix the curtain. Go.
Yeah, it'd be cool if we could have this. And somebody's like, all right, well, I got a Kickstarter going, so I want to make a thing that does this. And everybody's like, that's awesome. You should do that. Right. There was a guy who started a GoFundMe to make potato salad. He got $10,000.
There we go.
Like, I'm just like, we want people to do things. We do. There are a lot of people who just need the encouragement, and they'll go do it too. Like, I think like I feel like there's the losers and the leftovers who are really loud and annoying. But I feel like there's that middle group of people who are like, oh, the leftovers did say this though. And it's like, but they need to hear is just a louder voice of people that says, yeah. And you know what? The reason why they get a platform is because you didn't get off your ass and do it yourself.
Right.
You could probably do it better.
Right.
But some loser took it upon himself to do it. And so now you got a loser fucking product and a loser fucking service. At any given time, you could have something better if your ass just got up and did it better, And they just need to hear that. And then they need to tune out those fucking crabs in the bucket that want to pull them down and just say, you know what? I'm not gonna feel ashamed for being successful. I'm not gonna feel ashamed for making money. I'm not gonna feel ashamed for being, for being better and for creating distance between me and your loser ass. And
don't touch me, you loser.
Yeah, no shit. 6 feet. 6 feet. Safe.
12 feet. 12 feet.
12 feet. Oh, look, we're at 24 feet. Bye. As I go off into the sunset, bye. Just like I want to create. I want people to create enough distance between these leftovers to where they abandon their culture, and abandon their mentality and their bullshit, so that America can go back to what it was. I mean, it really is that. I think there's more of a social ill than anything, and I think if we fix that, if we as people get together and fix that ourselves, the government will fall in line, because you'll essentially start.
Government follows. Government's super slow.
Right. It's downstream. It's downstream of culture. So if you have a culture that is affirmed and aggressively trying to get after it and chasing the next big thing and wants more of that, they will elect a person who does that, who says, I want to do that, and that is how you will. It's not that you're going to vote your way out of it. It's that you
have to do your way out of it.
You're going to lead it out. And the way in which you lead is by being the example, and by rejecting, in the free market that still exists of ideas, rejecting outright the most fucked up, low level, low T ideas that are circulating right now. I don't want your impotent shit. I want really awesome shit. And if I want awesome shit, I literally need to shut them down and shut them up. And I don't mean censorship. It doesn't have to be censorship. It just has to be an outright rejection. I love it when people get ratioed for their bullshit. Nothing blesses me more than seeing Twitter and then somebody's like, victim, victim, victim. And then a bunch of people chime in and the comments are just gold. They just triple down on it. Yep, you suck. Yeah, too fucking bad for you. I'm going to go win over here. And they just come after them. I'm like, yes, make them so ashamed they take the shit down. Shame them. Straight up. Bring back shaming. What the fuck? Where did that go? Fuck doxing. Shame them.
Yeah, shame is great. We need shame. Shame is a great catalyst.
Oh, 100%. I have a friend of mine who's just like, We really need to bring that back, because I think that's what keeps everybody in check. Is shaming and then losing social currency. Losing that social currency that says, "Oh, you're so popular, man. Fuck you. No, you're not. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares what you're saying." And we need that. I want that.
Yeah, and having this, when crazy person, bring back the natural response to crazy people, like the town loony. It's like, oh, hey, that's a town loony on the corner yelling about whatever it is. You're not gonna go in. Oh, not only let me listen to you, but let you guide how, you become the norm.
Right.
No.
Right. End that shit.
Hank, keep away.
Correct. That's right. I don't want that needs to happen. We can't, and that way there's the balance, right? I know what I don't want, but I know what I do want. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to start openly affirming that which I want. I'm going to reward it. I'm going to give it attention. I'm going to give it clicks, likes, whatever. All of this behavior that is good behavior that I want to see outside my window, I will affirm it. You did your garden today, love. Right? You fucking, you did a bunch of spring cleaning and gave away 3 bags of shit you didn't even know you had. Love. All of that. I love that for you. Got a new job, love. I'm just 100% love bomb the people who are doing the work and doing anything positive. And then the people who aren't, fucking downvote that shit.
We'll have to fucking get in line.
Yeah. Exactly. Get in line or
get in line or die.
Or suffer on pain of shame, but for real, relentlessly shame them.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally do that every time now. When I see this bullshit that gets promoted to me on the feed, 100% I go in there and I tell them, you can't be serious.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
We're not accepting that here.
Yeah. We're not. No, I don't accept that. This is bullshit. And just straight up call it that. I'm not even trying to be nice about it. I'm not even being diplomatic about it. I'm just nope, that's a bunch of bullshit. Here's 10 reasons why that I just thought of right now, and I'm out.
This is going to be a no.
Yeah, goodbye. That's it.
Yeah. Oh my God, we solved America again.
I know. We do that. We do this for the country.
Well, this is the thing. It's easy to solve America when you're an excellent human being that goes after life.
Yeah.
Because it's the norm.
Right. That's as it should be. Right. It's being honest. You don't have to keep up with all the bullshit of your lies. You can
it's not hard at all.
No, it's not.
Winning is really not hard. Just keeping up the standard.
Yeah. That's right. Maintain that standard and then level up a little bit every once in a while. You're fine. That's it. It's not that hard.
There we go. Fuck yeah, we fucking did it again, baby. Everyone, Rich and Hydrated Podcast, Diamonds and Demons edition. Next week, back at it Tuesday, everywhere on the podcast to share. I've been getting so many amazing feedback about this episode series. I'll have to share them with you. I don't even share them with you. See, it's so bad of me.
Oh, yay!
Yes. So we'll be here next week, everyone. See you next week.